5 reasons to avoid pawn shop loans. Pawn shop loans might seem like a good option for fast cash when you need it, but they could end up costing much more than anticipated. If you're looking to buy a diamond necklace at a reasonable price, heading to a pawn shop isn't a bad plan, but selling to a pawn shop is a whole other story. In addition to selling a vast selection of engagement rings, discarded musical instruments, mismatched tools, and other tech items, pawn shops offer cash loans in exchange for your belongings. Here's how pawn shop loans work. You bring in an item as collateral, and the pawnbroker will determine the value of the item, give you a loan based on its cost, and then hang on to your collateral until you've paid off the loan within the specified time frame. If you don't, the pawnbroker can sell your item. In a nutshell, it is one way to get a personal loan without a credit check. While a pawnshop loan might seem like a good idea in theory, in practice it can be an expensive and risky proposition. If you are considering a pawnshop for your no credit check loan means, do yourself a favor and read up on the risk first. Here are 5 reasons you may want to keep your belongings out of pawnbrokers' hands. Number 1. The pawnbroker shop's loan amounts. Pawnbrokers typically give out small loan amounts even if the item you are pawning is worth more. If the necklace from your grandmother is worth $800, you probably aren't going to be able to secure an $800 pawnshop loan. In fact, most pawnbrokers will offer you a loan amount that's just a fraction of your item's value. According to the National Pawnbrokers Association, the average pawnshop loan is $150. Imagine this. You put down your brand new iPad as collateral for a $100 loan, but you just can't pay it back on time. How much did the iPad cost you in the first place? Unless it was made out of balsa wood and spray paint, your device probably cost quite a bit more than $100. Number 2. The cost to benefit ratio. If you want to get your item back, you will have to pay back the loan plus interest before your loan term is up. The amount of interest and fees a pawnbroker can charge varies from state to state, but it can be pretty high. The longer your loan term, the more money you are going to be paying your pawnbroker to get back an item that you've already purchased. Think about that iPad again for a moment. You just paid $700 to buy it. Then you pawned it for rupees $100 and ended up paying $115 back to the pawnbroker before you could reclaim it. You may even have the opportunity to extend or renew your pawn loan. But remember, the more you pawn something, the more it costs in the long run because you are paying back the amount you borrowed as well as interest. Number 3. You could lose your belongings. Failing to pay back your pawn shop loans means that you won't get back the belongings used as collateral. Ask yourself, is it worth risking sentimental family heirlooms for a small cash loan? Number 4. Some pawnbrokers operate illegally. Most states have strengthened pawn shop loan regulation, but that doesn't mean all pawnbrokers are following these rules. In recent years, there have been many reports of pawn shops charging more than the allowed annual percentage rate, asking people to sign illegal contracts and deceiving customers about the actual price of their loan. Number 5. There are better alternatives. When you find yourself in a tight personal finance spot, it might seem like you have an obligation to take out a costly pawn shop loan if your options are limited. Even people with bad or no credit may be able to qualify for online personal installment loan, which are a more strategic alternative to other types of loans. Personal installment loans may be a better alternative for a number of reasons. First, they can help improve your credit as on-time payments are typically reported to the credit bureaus. Unlike with payday, title or pawn shop loan, installment loans typically have longer terms and set payments that you can actually afford. You'll know before you sign any contract how much you have to pay every month and how long it will take to pay off the loan. Don't risk losing your precious property. Educate yourself before you jump into a pawn shop loan and make a choice that will benefit both your family and your bank account.